Hey everyone, I'm Evan, and today we're going to be reviewing my favorite catfish rod and reel combo, which is an Abu Garcia 6500 C3 reel paired with an ugly Stik Catfish combo. This rod and reel combination is definitely on the more affordable side, although there are many cheaper options than this. So I've seen many fishing gear reviews online where people unbox something and take it fishing one time. I wanted to give a little bit better impression for people, and I've had this rod and reel combo for a little over 4 months now. I've caught catfish, carp, and bowfin with it. With plenty of fish around 5 and 6 pounds, all the way up to about 9.5 pounds with this. We'll start with the reel first. So this is just the standard Abu Garcia Ambassadeur C3 6500. You can generally find this reel for about $120 on most of your sporting goods sites. When looking at this reel, it comes with the regular paddle handle. Some people like the power handles better. I would prefer a power handle, but I just got the standard model. You have your star drag system that can generate, on the website it says 15 pounds of drag. It holds, I believe, around 200 yards of 20-pound monofilament, which I have 80-pound braid on here, and that's pretty equivalent size-wise to the 20-pound mono. Right here, you have your button to engage and disengage. It is a little bit stiff if you're not rolling back on the reel some whenever you push this button in. It automatically engages whenever you start reeling. And the engagement is very smooth with it. The tension knob for the spool is right behind the star drag. And it's a 5.3-to-1 gear ratio. So my likes with this reel, in the 4 months I've used it, I've never had a problem with it. It's held up fine. This isn't really long enough to do a longevity test. I've not put it through enough yet. I plan on doing another review after I've had this for a year and then another one at 2 years to really give a good idea of how well this reel lasts. I will be putting those videos in the description when the time comes. Another thing that I like about this reel is that it does have a clicker, like most of year-round reels. This clicker is fairly loud. You engage it just by pushing it up. You can hear it pretty well. It's pretty audible. Another thing I like about this reel, it has a level wind too. I've never used non-level wind reel, but it seems like it just makes it a little more simple whenever you're reeling in. The drag on this reel is very smooth. If you watch pulling it out, there's no hesitation in it. It pulls out nice and smooth. I've never had the jerky drag on here. The casting distance seems great with it. I've never had any problems with getting where I need to cast. Everything's smooth when you cast. So one thing I don't like about this reel, the tension knob is rather hard to get to. It's kind of difficult to turn, which isn't a big deal if you're using around the same amount of weight every time, but if you're going between, say, bigger live baits and then a cut bait, or if you're changing where you're fishing, like on lakes where you're only using a couple ounce of weights versus a faster flowing river, that could get kind of old adjusting this very much. So my overall take with this reel is that if your budget allows you to spend about $120, I would definitely buy this. I feel like it's a great value for the money. It's definitely not one of the cheapest reels out there, but it's a great value. If you prefer the power handles on the reels, those can be upgraded for around $18 to $20. So now let's turn our attention to the rod itself. This is an Ugly Stik Catfish Special. It's 8 feet long. It's a 2-piece rod, medium heavy. I've never had this rod separate on me whenever I've been fishing, so I wouldn't hesitate to buy it just because it's a 2-piece rod. This rod's fairly inexpensive. You can find this in most places for $40 to $50 for just the rod. This rod is designed to throw between a half an ounce and 3 ounces of total lure weight, which I'm always throwing at least 3 ounces with this one, and it handles fine. So 3, 4, 5 ounces, it casts that just fine, because I'm always using at least 2 ounces of lead, sometimes 4 ounces. Whenever you do start getting into like 4 ounces of lead plus a big piece of cut bait, or 6 ounces of lead and cut bait, it is a little bit labored with that. So you can lob it out there, the rod's not going to break or anything, but it's not going to cast nice like it will with a little bit lighter lead on it. We have composite reel seats, which is pretty standard for rods at this price point. A couple of things I like about the rod. I like the butt of the rod. It's fairly long. It allows you to get a good amount of leverage on it. The length of the rod allows for a nice casting distance. One of the things that Ugly Stik is known for is the soft tips on the rods. That's important. That's especially important for circle hooks where you need the tip to be able to move down for it to set properly. And as we can see, it's a very flexible tip. Another thing that I like about this is that in low light situations, you can see this tip pretty easily since it kind of glows. The rod itself is pretty lightweight. So if you are trying to bump with it, or if you're having to cast it more, it's not going to wear you out as much. I like that it has a hook keeper on the back. I use that all the time. I don't particularly like using the eyelets for the hook keepers. I like the fact that the eyelets themselves, that there's 9 of them, and that they're a single piece stainless steel design. So you're not going to have to worry about the eyelets falling out. And with the braided line, I've never had grooves in the top of the eyelet either. I don't know if that's because of the certain type of braided line that I use, or just that the ugly sticks have good eyelets. As far as things I don't like about the rod, I really don't have any complaints about it. Maybe if the action was a little bit more parabolic. They're fairly soft in the tip, but they're not quite as soft throughout the whole rod. Sometimes on the reel seats, they do lighten up from time to time to where you have to tighten them down. I've had to do that a few times, but really overall, no, I don't have any big complaints with it. So my recommendation on this rod is that if you're looking for a good quality rod at a low price, this is the rod for you. It's a great value. It's a great rod if you don't have to throw a lot of heavy weight with it. If you're in a faster moving river like the Missouri or parts of the Mississippi, you're probably going to need more weight to hold it down there. This rod is not going to do very nice with 8 ounces of weight plus a big chunk of cut bait. I would use a heavier rod. Even though this rod says it's a medium heavy, it's not as heavy as a lot of the other medium heavy rods out there. A lot of them are rated between 1 to 6 or 1 to 10 ounces for a medium heavy. This would not throw 10 ounces of lure weight very well. Your rod tip would be very bowed down compared to the other ones. But overall, if you're looking for a great value rod, this is definitely it. So overall, I believe that this rod and reel combo is a great value at $160. I enjoy using it. It's nice, it's lightweight, it just feels good in your hands. I look to be using this combo well into the future. Even when I get more rods and reels, I look to always have this in my lineup. If you have more money, you can get better rods and reels than this, but if your budget will allow you to spend around $160, I believe that this is a great rod and reel combo for you. If you've ever had this combo or either the rod or the reel, please let me know in the comments what you thought of it. I always like to hear what other people think of the combos because some people can use the same combo and have a totally different experience with it. So by all means, leave comments, whatever you think of this. Be sure to stay tuned for future rod and reel reviews. I look to be doing many more in the future. If you have any rods and reels that you'd like for me to review or you think that I should try, just let me know in the comments and I might be able to pick up one in the future. Hopefully whenever the pandemic dies down a little bit, availability will become a little bit better for our rods and reels, and I'll be able to go out and purchase a few more and give you guys an honest review of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Please feel free to like the video, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.